I had a conversation with Buddy Sadva 2-3 days ago, and I was talking to him about the difference between the thirst and the pleasure of performing. Meaning that I didn't have any, how can I say? I didn't have any problem. I didn't have any problem or any struggle moving on from my life as a performer. Even if I do some festivals, I'm invited. I have a show on November. I have another one in December. But I used to have shows, like I could not do Club Shada 10 years, 15 years ago, because I would be right now either performing or on my way back from a performance on the Sunday. And I would be on another CD, or I would be resting from a show, because I was performing 3 times a week between 96 and up until I would say 2015. In that period of 20 years, I performed non-stop from 96. And I'm not even talking about the underground show between 92 and 96, but from 96 till 2016, I would say. But I was already in Portugal, but I was doing shows. So shows was my business. So if I do a quick calculation, let me take my calculator here. If I say that, let's say every week I was doing 2 shows. So maybe not exactly every week. So 1 year is 12 months multiplied by 4 weeks. So that's 48 weeks multiplied by, let's say just 2 shows. So you have 96 shows. So maybe a year, 100 shows. Right? So 100 shows every year multiplied by 20 years. That's 2,000 shows. So I'm not saying I did every week exactly 2 shows, because sometimes I have 1 show, sometimes there was no show, sometimes there was 4 shows. But more or less, we can say that I did between 1,005 and 2,000 shows all around the world, performing from clubs to festival, from 500 people to 100,000 people. And after 20 years of that, and in the middle of that, I started pivoting to making more money from my catalog, my YouTube channel, my streaming, my back catalog. I started realizing that if I could make, I said this to myself in 2007, if I could make the same amount of money from that I would do from 1 or 2 shows per week, or even 1 show per week from YouTube and my catalog, it would be more secure to me as a business. I said to myself, yeah, because shows, you don't know when they stop calling you to perform. If you are not the one organizing your own shows and you are just waiting for the phone to ring and somebody to think about you to perform, you can have ups and downs. So I said to myself around 2007, I have to start pivoting, because I've been doing this for 10 years nonstop. And I don't know if in 10 years I'm still doing this, or if people are still calling me or my agents to book shows. Because in 10 years already, a new generation is there. They know your songs because they're big brothers and sisters. But in 10 years, the people who love my songs of 2003 are going to be 40, 50. And whoever is there in 2017 will be their sons. And they probably have their own artists that they love and their own artists that they listen to in the clubs. And me, I was thinking in my head, in 2014, I'm going to be 40. And everybody in the club is 18. It's starting to be a big difference. So I started saying to myself, I have to start pivoting to another business model. And that's exactly what I did. And in 2024, so another 10 years later, so meaning that my songs that came out in 2004, like One Love, they're 20 years old. My album, African Bohemian, iconic album, is 20 years old. On Dit Quoi, 21 years old. 1998 album, Telephone, Bounce Baby, 26 years old. So to me, I completely pivoted in 10 years into building catalog and making money from catalog, creating content, Club Shada episode, Internet du Village, podcast, music for movies, music for television, music for other people, writing for other people, and making money from all these different sources of revenue. And shows used to represent in 2001, 2002, shows used to represent 100% of my revenue. By 2006, 7, when I was also producing artists like Soumia, Elisio, ABG, Tia, etc., shows represented already 50% of my revenue, because I was making money from selling albums from me and other people. And in 2024 today, shows represent, 3-4% of my revenue, because now I scaled the other revenues to bring even more than when I was doing shows. And the conversation I was having with my friend was, hey, listen, you cannot be obsessed about this idea of shows and people loving you because you don't know when this ends. You have to concentrate yourself in other venues. And something that was even more interesting, because then he asked me, and people always ask me, yeah, but don't you want to be on stage? Don't you want to have like the feeling of, being on stage, people loving you, like you don't miss it? And then I was telling people, there's a difference between the pleasure of doing it and the thirst. When I was young, I was thirsty as fuck. I wanted to perform all the time for free, because I was trying to get my name known, and when I was passionate about people listening to my music, seeing my skills as a rapper and listening to my beats, etc., etc. When I started getting paid to perform, I was still thirsty. When my first album came out, I was still thirsty to have people discover me. Back when I was on my fourth album and I had huge hits like On Dit Quoi, I was enjoying performing, but I was already not thirsty, because by 2006, I already had like 10 years of performances behind me. even more, since 92. I had already had 14 years on stage. So if your dream is to be on stage performing for other people, you feel it. You feel that pleasure to be there, to exchange your energy. So you want more. But if you did it for years and years and years, at a point, it's not a dream anymore. It became a reality. It became something that you fulfilled. And if you are not ambitious, which is the problem of a lot of artists, is you want to do this forever because that was your only ambition. But if you are like me and you're like, okay, I'm here, what is there? Oh, I'm there. What is there? Oh, I'm there. What is there? That's how I am. So at a point, once you did 1,000 shows, there's nothing more to be thirsty about because you did 1,000 shows. It's not that you don't like shows. It's not like when I'm on stage, I'm not enjoying being on stage. It's just that I did so many shows that I enjoy being there. But if I never do a show again and I do something else completely, become a banker or politician, president of Congo, whatever, I will not miss performing. Listen, I will not compare myself to Ronaldo, but I believe that after scoring 1,000 goals, once he retires from playing and maybe buys a team or maybe handles his hotels or just wants to chill, I don't know what he wants to do after his career as a professional player. Maybe he will miss it, or maybe he will just look at the past fondly, saying, I did it. And once you say to yourself, I did it, you're not thirsty anymore for oh my God, I wish I could do it. Look, oh my God, can I do a freestyle 5 minutes? Can I take the mic a little bit? That was us in 92. In 2024, 32 years later, listen, from performing at 18 to being 50, yeah, there's some things that you're not interested in anymore. It's just that you're not thirsty anymore. And even making hits is not something that making a hit, I understand the business implication of it. So I will always want to have some hits, but I don't run after the hits. If a song becomes a hit organically and it belongs to me and I'm going to make money from it, amazing. If I could have 20 something going on, listen, I would be super happy. But actually, building a catalog that can sustain time and that can generate money on a long term, not like a hit that is a hit and then once the spike is over, it comes back down, but having a body of work that is generating income forever at least on a long term, like a body of songs, compositions, catalog, podcast episodes, videos on a YouTube channel, so building content is something that I'm way more interested today than back in the days where all I wanted was perform, because I was thirsty for performing. And once this thirst is satisfied and your thirst is quenched, yeah, all is left is the pleasure. When I go on stage and it's like once a month, this summer I did 5, but usually it's one every 2 months. When it happens, I love it. It's amazing. I enjoy seeing that the crowd continues to know the songs and that people that were not born sing the song, people that that are now in their 50s. They love the song too. Families, the whole. I love seeing it. And once I'm done doing it, I'm happy because, hey, listen, extra money. And yeah, a great moment, a communion with the people who love my music. But I have a lot of other things to do. And I have a lot of other things that generate more money for me. And I believe that a lot of people would benefit from having more than one dream. Because once that dream is realized, you always have to ask yourself, what is next? Because if not, you might pass like the trend, which is what happens to a lot of artists that I know. So yeah, it is what it is.